Hey guys, Darren back again. Today we're going to take a look at the old SNES Jr, or the Super Famicom Jr in this case, and we're going to give it a RGB mod kit from RetroFixes.com. So these are Super Famicom Juniors, or the SNES Mini, you might call it in the States. They've got the multi-out connector, but they don't output RGB, just composite video. So this little simple mod kit solders in and gives it RGB and even S-video if that's what you're into. All right guys, so let's go through the installation and we'll see how it's done. So in the kit we just get the board, goes that way, sorry. RetroFixes, SNES RGB, we've got, this is version 2B, we've got RGB and C-Sync coming out this side. We've got a TTL jumper there for the different types of output, like 75 ohm output, so you can control that. It's all in the instructions, so I won't really get into that. And then this pin header solders directly to the underneath of the multi-out. So it's funny, the signals were actually present on the console, but they were never run to the multi-outs. So that's all you get in the kit. You get just the wire to wire that up, just 4 conductors for red, green, blue, and C-Sync, and the optional 2 strand for S-video. That's pretty much it, so it's a very simple kit. So then all you need to do is just pull this thing apart. So 4 screws underneath, and they're gonna be 4.5mm game bit screws. So I've already gone ahead and pulled them out. Then you can lift the lid. Then you've just got the cart slot screws, the metal shield here, and a few screws around there, and one up the back. I'll put up a graphic now so you can see exactly what to take out. And with those all taken out, lift the board out of the case, and that's ready for cleaning a bit later. Then we've got a nice clean board to work with. So what's interesting is these later revisions, around about 1997, I believe these came out. They're all one chip varieties, so they're actually quite good. I think they're all one chips. Post in the comments if they're not, but my understanding is that the later ones were, which is great because they're higher quality. This one's an SNN CPU 01, yeah, 97, there you go. And I believe, looking at the bottom, that was, yeah, so Super Famicom Jr, SHVC 101. So this kit will work on this model and the US model of the similar console. So first thing we need to do is grab our side cutters or flush cutters, and this is the destination. So basically, if you look closely here, I'll just zoom in for you. The underneath of the multi-out connector, which is right there, has all these pins protruding, and the chip will basically fit over those pins and we'll solder it on. But there's a few things in the way, so these 4 pins that stick out here and maybe these ones, basically off the capacitors down there, they're all sort of in the way. So first thing you need to do is just jump in there with a flush cutter and cut them flat. Might even do those 2 as well. I think they're in the way. Oh, that almost went in my eye. So don't do that. So they're pretty right. Now then when we fit the board, yeah, that fits better. So I can solder that. And that sits pretty flush. Just touches that little surface mount capacitor. Let's go ahead and put the wires on. So, you can do the board first or the mod chip first, doesn't matter. I think I'll do the board first. So the points to solder to are right there. I'm going to put up a graphic from the instructions to assist you, but in a nutshell, it is red, green, blue, and it's actually that via right there. That's the C-Sync, not the lower one. So it's basically those 4 there, and you don't connect that lower one there. So I'll put up an image now. And it's pretty easy from the instructions. So we're going to sit about there. We're going to run our wire on that sort of angle. There's plenty of room underneath the console here for this wire to run, so you don't have to worry about that sort of stuff. Okay, so they're all stripped and they're in that sort of configuration. So we should really tin these. I just recommend giving them a little twist first. Just like so. And they're all done. Excuse my hands, by the way, I've got cuts and things all over me. I'm doing some gardening this weekend. It's a long weekend here in Australia. It's the Melbourne Cup weekend, big horse race. So it's a day off today. I'm doing this mod, but yeah, my hands are dirty from gardening. So let's grab the soldering iron and the solder. Really should put a smaller tip on, but oh well. So before I solder to any via, which is these round things that go through the board, they're called vias or via, depending on where you're from. What I like to do is I like to just scratch them, just to take a little bit of the top sort of coating off them, just very gently scratch them. Probably don't have to do this tip, but I find it just solders much easier. Don't push too hard because you'll damage them and you might actually cut the traces. Just scratch a little bit. Grab yourself some isopropyl alcohol. Give them a clean from your fingerprints and everything. Put a little bit of flux on. I just got it, just a basic flux pen. Just wait for that isopropyl to dry. Just put a little bit of flux there. Then we can put these on. Okay, so I've got the wires in place, just basically like that, from the board to the... So if you take a look at these pins on the multi-out, they're actually bridged. The third one in from the right here is bridged. So all you need to do is probably add a little bit more solder, and then we need to suck that off and de-bridge it. So a bit more solder on both pins. I really do need a smaller tip, don't I? So we're gonna make it worse, but then we're gonna make it much better. I hate these little portable solder desuckers, but you know what, I'll give it a shot. If it doesn't work, I'll fire up the proper desoldering gun. There we go, almost done. That's the goal. Just make sure that is nice and clear before you solder this on. Otherwise, I actually don't know how you'd fix that. That'd be a bit of a problem. So just take your time on that one. So I've just wrapped a bit of tape around the board to cover the solder points and the underneath. It's mainly to protect it from touching the components on the board down here. Then we just place it in place. Just sit it there. Make sure it's sitting how you want it. Just run a little bit of flux across it and solder up the points. And then you'll end up with something like that. So just the board soldered on, nice and separate points, and we should be pretty much ready to test. So that's pretty much the mod done. If you wanted to add the optional S-Video, you would also add that to the S-Video pads, which I'm not going to do in this case. The customer doesn't want it, but you'd add the wires. and you'd run it to the relevant points, which are in the instructions. So we're just sticking to RGB today. The wires are just going to sit like that. It's reasonably neat, and there's plenty of clearance. So let's give that a test, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so we've got this over at the testing area, and I've got it cabled up with a RGB SCAR cable from Retro Gaming Cables. So that should all be ready to go. It's running into my OSSC, the open source scan converter. So let's flick that on. We can see it's come up at 60 Hertz, and there you go. So there's a bit of reflection on the TV. You can see my dirty workshop stuff around there, but the picture looks great. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So RGB. Now this is obviously line tripled through the OSCC, but it all looks pretty good. So I'm not going to try and play this and film at the same time, but look, that looks amazing. This is a really nice background, this dial sim level, so you get to see the good colors and things. So RGB looks amazing. Pretty happy with that. It's a great little kit, this one. So let's take it back over to the bench so you can hear what I'm saying. So that is pretty damn good. The results are excellent. So, you know, all there is to do now is to reassemble. I probably won't reassemble it right here on camera. I need to wash the plastic and case and so forth for the customer and make it look perfect. But you just go ahead and you put your screws back in, and you put your RF shield back in, and the job's done. These are great little consoles, actually. I really like them. I've never actually had one of these, like this particular one, before, but they're very small, very compact. Not many capacitors to replace, so if you wanted to recap it, it's really just the rear power section. There's really not much else going on, which is really good, actually. So they're an excellent console to pick up. I'd recommend you pick up this RGB kit. It's very easy to install, and you're off and gaming. So I'll leave the video there, guys. I won't bore you with reassembly and stuff, but I'll just show you one thing. Just hang on a second, and I'll show you the product I'm using to recondition plastic these days. Just wait 2 seconds. So this is the stuff right here. VuPlex Plastic Cleaner and Anti-Static Polish. This is the stuff airlines use for all their tables and tray tables and armrests and things inside the plane. So I was recommended this product by an automotive shop when I went in there to buy some plastic condition. They said, no, don't buy that. Most of the car stuff just attracts dust and stuff. This stuff is anti-static, and to be honest, it gives the console a great look. So highly recommend that product. All right, guys, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.